All right, here we are. It's
Hi.
episode 1 of The Engagement Agent. Everybody who I talked to said the place that you start as at the beginning with foundation, and that would be PIES, and that you're the expert. Everybody kept telling me go talk to Kim. So here I am with Kim. And yeah, tell me about PIES. What's this PIES that everybody talks about? Because I love pie.
Who doesn't love pie?
Exactly.
Pecan.
Right.
All right, so pies are the foundation of everything we think about in cooperative learning.
Okay.
So there's 4 pieces of our pie.
Okay.
So first is P, which is positive interdependence. And that is the feeling that students need each other in order to be successful in whatever learning activity or experience they are going through.
Okay.
Number 2 is I, which is individual accountability, and that students have to perform in front of one another. So it's not like that traditional old school presentation where I'm standing up in the front of the room talking to 20 kids. Sometimes it's just me giving my answer to you or in my table.
Oh.
Other times it might be my whole team is going to share something that we have done with another team.
So the students are really driving that more than the teachers
Yes.
are. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, then our third piece of the pie is equal participation.
Okay.
So we want all students obviously to participate, but the equal piece is if I'm working with my team,
Mm-hmm.
I am either going to have an equal number of turns as everyone else on my team,
Oh, I like that.
or I'm going to be able to share for an equal amount of time. So if we think about a time pair share, right away we're each having an equal amount of time because we're each getting a turn.
Oh.
But then we're also going to share for the same amount of time, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever it happens to be.
So that kid who always takes everything over, they don't have a place in this, do they?
No, they don't.
And then the kid who likes to hide away and just let all the smart kids do it, they don't have a place in here either.
They don't either. Not if we have all of the pieces put in place.
Okay, what's our fourth
All
piece
right.
then?
Our fourth piece is our S, which is simultaneous interaction. And that is where we're thinking about how many students are participating at any one time.
Oh.
So our goal is 25 to 100%. So if it's a team-based activity and just one person is sharing, that's where our 25% is. But then I might be doing a Sage and Scribe where both of the students, both of the partners are engaged. So automatically, if we're thinking about all of those pieces of pies, 100% of my students are engaged in that activity.
Awesome. So I have positive interdependence,
Mhm.
individual accountability, equal participation, and simultaneous interactions.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So tell me a little bit more about PIES. Like, why do I want to do this? What's in it for me? What is it going to bring to my classroom? Because it sounds like great, but it also sounds like a lot of work. So tell me about it.
It's going to make your life so much easier.
I like easy.
Because, who doesn't? If you are using the structures, PIES is already in place.
Okay.
So what we want to think about, first of all, doing the structures, PIES are in place, but we want to make sure that we're doing each of those steps as they are given to us in order, because if I change things or if I leave a step out, then that's going to throw off the integrity of PIES.
So knowing PIES isn't enough. I have to be able to really incorporate all of the pieces of the PIES.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because then, like you said earlier, that's going to allow kids to hide or take over. So we
Okay.
have to be really intentional in that planning. But then, the more we do structures, the more we make sure that all of the pieces of PIES are in place. Students feel safe because you've done team building, you've done class building.
Yes.
I know my team, I know my shoulder partner.
Okay.
They also feel like they need each other. So
And that sense of belonging.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And through PIES, through the structures, they know that they're responsible for their own learning.
Okay.
The teacher's not going to come and rescue me. I've got my worksheet or my book in front of me.
Mhm.
My partner and I have to finish it together in order for us to complete it.
So my students are taking cognitive risks because they feel safe.
Mhm.
They have a sense of belonging because they know that they need each other, and they have more ownership of their learning because they feel more responsible for their learning.
Exactly. It's so motivating.
Okay. All right. And it's intrinsic, which is so many times I hear that from teachers, like, I don't want to be extrinsically motivating. I want to intrinsic. I want them to want to do. And this is what you're saying really is the foundational tool to put that in place.
Exactly.
I'm liking this. All right. So now I need to know when. When do I use pies? And honestly, how? Do I just go in and go, hey, everybody, we're doing pie day? Does that work? No.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No, the kids won't even know about pie.
Okay.
You could teach them to it. Teach them to it. How about if we teach it to them
Okay.
first?
So we can
Let's do
teach them
that.
about it so that way they have some of that ownership, but you could also just be sneaking it in.
Slip it in and they
Oh.
won't even know.
A little sneaky.
So, I know. So, when do we want to use pies?
Yeah.
Always.
So it's always time for pie.
Always time for pie.
I'm liking this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, our structures, like we said before, already set, already in place.
Okay.
Follow the steps, and you can pretty much guarantee that you have pies that you're going to have cooperative learning. Your students feel safe. They're going to accomplish the activity and learn what you want them to learn from it.
What's the big difference between group work and cooperative learning?
So in group work, somebody can take over.
Okay.
If we're given a task and the teacher just says, here, work on this, you can do all the work for me and I don't have to say a thing. And I just say, yep, that looks great. Awesome, Jess. I love it.
Okay.
But when we have the pies in place, I know that I can't move forward until you give your answer.
Okay.
You can't move forward until I give my
So
answer.
that's where that interdependence comes in place.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So it's very, very easy for an activity to slip into group work. I think when it's a teacher planned new activity, fantastic, because we all love to be creative and give kids new activities, but the intentional planning piece comes in how do I make sure that each of those elements are included.
Okay.
So that students can't hide, that students can't take over, that everybody's responsible and everyone is performing and participating in front of their team or with their partner.
So when PIES is in place, that student engagement and participation and ownership and responsibility, that all is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
So the same could be true of when PIES or even one element of PIE is missing. That's when the student engagement decreases, and that's when people can kind of start taking over or hiding.
Exactly.
All right, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So how do I do this? How am I going to put PIES in place in my day-to-day lessons and instruction?
Okay, so first thing, the very easy part, like we already said, we already have some fantastic engagement structures. Those are done, PIES are in place. The thing that you have to remember then is that you are matching the structure with the function, or what is your purpose? What do you want students to get out of this activity?
Okay.
As long as that matches, you can pretty much ensure that it's cooperative learning and not group work.
So this is basically like backwards planning, where I'm going to say what's the objective that I'm looking for, and then find the structure that might fit into that.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
If it's something else that you're planning and you want kids to work together, that becomes a little bit more work, because you want to make sure that as you're planning your directions, that you're planning for those different pieces of pie.
Okay.
So I think when I taught second grade and I had kids working together and they were doing a visualization activity after their reading, and everybody had a role, but I didn't know about PIES yet. So I know that students were able to take over and say, nope, give me the marker, I'm going to do it. Other kids could turn around and hide and read a book, where the intention was good, but I know now that it was group work and it wasn't true cooperative learning. Not everybody had to be responsible for the final product.
That makes sense, because as you're sitting here talking about the PIES, I was like, yeah, of course I have that incorporated somewhere in my lesson. But then taking the extra step for the intentional planning of every element, that's the next level.
Exactly.
Because we all do some of this. So really what you're telling me is that we all have the keys to this as well. It's just putting it in place intentionally that really unlocks this potential for student engagement.
Yes.
All right. It makes sense why everybody was pushing me towards you then
for
pie. I mean, not only because I just clearly love pie, but all right. Okay, so to summarize it up, what do we got? We've got who doesn't want more pie? So if we're looking for more on PIES, where are some of the places that people could go?
All right, if you're looking for more on PIES, you can reach out to just about any coach.
Okay.
And if they need a little bit more help with that, they can definitely send you in the right direction in your building to which coach you should reach out to.
Okay.
We have trainings all the time
All right.
We have some Saturday cake and trainings that have been available. I'm sure that we have some online things, school-based things. So if trainings are available, show up to them or
Okay.
ask for something.
All right.
And finally, check out resources in any of our school learning centers because
Perfect.
we have a ton of resources and information available.
Materials. Okay, so if we're digging into PIES, we've got the basics of it. Knowing that this is just the basics, or maybe for some of you a refresher, that really helps me understand at least why PIE is important. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, we'll be back for the next episode of Engagement Agent, where we're going to have a brand new topic and see how we can increase that engagement in the classroom. Bye.